Very good morning, everybody. Today is the second day of our presentations, and we are having the presentation today on research methodology. Semester 4 students. In this morning session, we have 10 students who are going to make presentations on the topics. Let us have a look at the topics. Also, let me share a screen so we can have a view at the topics also. I would request somebody to check the sound in YouTube if it is going properly or not. So, just yeah, okay, it is. I'm testing here. Okay, fine. Let me share a screen to have the list of the students in this session. Okay. Okay, so we will have first presentation by Hirva Pandya on consequence of plagiarism, which will be followed by Hinaba Sarvaiya on plagiarism and its related issues. Himanshi Parmar will read on forms of plagiarism. Emisha will read on qualitative and quantitative research and what sets them apart. Divya Sheta will read on role of paraphrasing in research writing, followed by Divya Parmar, whose presentation will be on format of the research paper. Dhvani Rajyaguru will read on plagiarism, concept, types, and solution. Dhruvita will read on the power of originality, navigating the ethics of plagiarism. Bhavna will read on what is academic writing and its characteristics. And finally, the last one for the day, this morning session will be by Aamena, Navigating the World of Research, a guide to different methodologies. So it seems that we have lot many presentations on plagiarism. So many of you are speaking on various aspects of plagiarism. Let us hope that we will get some good examples about plagiarism, which we will discuss in the presentation. Okay. So let us start with the first presentation. Yes, Hirva, you can start sharing your screen and start with your presentation.
So my name is Hirva Pandya. Today I am going to deal with the topic of consequences of plagiarism. This is my personal information. Points to ponder upon: introduction, definition of plagiarism, consequences of plagiarism, conclusion and work citation. Introduction: the Council of Writing Program Administrators defines plagiarism in an instruction context as occurring when a writer deliberately uses someone else's language, ideas, or other original text material without acknowledging its source. This definition applies to text published in a print or online, to manuscripts, and to the work of other student writers. Plagiarism and citing sources incorrectly are two different situations. If writers make every effort to cite sources accurately but not cite adequately or do not use the correct citation style, they are not plagiarizing. Definition of plagiarism: according to Harvard University, plagiarism is a theft of someone else's idea and work. It is incorporation of facts, ideas, or specific language that are not common knowledge are taken from another source. According to Kent State University, plagiarism is a multifaceted and ethically complex problem. However, if any definition of plagiarism is to be helpful, administrator, faculty, or student. According to Oxford University, plagiarism is presenting work or ideas from another source as your own with or without consent of original author by incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement. According to RIT, Student Academic Integrity Policy, plagiarism is the representation of others' idea as one's own without giving proper attribution to the original author. This is the consequences of plagiarism. Reputation problem. Plagiarism allegation can cause a student to be suspended or expelled. Uh, Reputation problem is their professor reputation or student reputation or any other reputation can plagiarism can ruin any of their reputation. School, colleges, and university take plagiarism very seriously. Plagiarism allegation can cause students to be suspended or expelled. Their academic record can reflect the ethics or offense. Legal repression. The legal repression of plagiarism can be quite serious. Copyright laws are absolute. There are defined laws to set up secure a unique essayist privileges. For example, copyright law is severe individual, nation, and may draw in jail. Sentence separated from money related harm. Money related consequences. There are money related consequences. The individual who has composed the counterfeited material might be coordinated to pay cash the work first maker in the case where a journalist works for magazine, newspaper or other publisher, or even if student is found plagiarizing in a school. Disappointment in assessment. A few colleges and universities pay attention to demonstration of plagiarism and may remove the understudy in the class. Consequences of plagiarism. This is from ChatGPT. Academic consequences. Plagiarism can result in a failing grade on an assignment, a failing grade in a course, or even exploitation from school. Professional consequences. In a professional world, plagiarism can lead loss of job opportunity, damage to professional reputation, and legal action. Conclusion. To sum up that it can be observed that plagiarism should be academic, professional or personal. In academic context, plagiarism result failing course, being expelled from the school or losing academic privileges. Professionally, plagiarism can ruin anyone reputation like a professor or student and they will be out as out from the school. These are my work citation. Thank you.
Okay, so let us have questions. Ha, yes, you can.
What one can do to avoid plagiarism?
To avoid plagiarism? To avoid plagiarism, there is many sites or there many resources like Grammarly and Java and many other. And to check the plagiarism, they can paraphrase the tool and they can cite properly or any other author or source of any author or source. And have to they have to give some name of author if they are if they are using someone's idea.
Can you define plagiarism in your words?
Yes, plagiarism means to steal someone's idea or and change their name accordingly. That this is my own idea. This is, in my words, this is plagiarism.
I think yesterday Hirva was telling everybody to close the window. And you have kept it open, but you have not closed it. That is the effect of nervousness.
Hello everyone, I am Hinaba Sarvaiya. Today I am dealing the plagiarism and its related issues. This is my personal information and table of content. First, I have to deal with definition of plagiarism. Second, why under plagiarism is considered. Related issues, how to avoid plagiarism according to ChatGPT and work citation. First, a definition of plagiarism. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, plagiarism comes from the Latin plagiarius, means kidnappers. When plagiarism first entered English in the form of plagiary, it kept its original reference to kidnapping a sense that is new, quite obsolete. To plagiarize means to commit literary theft and present as new and original an idea or produce derived from an existing source. It's a means to plagiarism if we to take another person's idea, and we have to not cite that particular authors which the original idea that give them, that time we find the plagiarism. Plagiarism involves two kind of wrong when using another person's ideas, information, or expression without acknowledge that person's work contribute intellectual theft. That is the intellectual theft when we are using another person's idea when without acknowledging them. And another is the passing of another person's idea, information, and expression as you want to get a better grade or gain some other's advantage constitute fraud. Why under plagiarism is considered? The first, the presenting someone else's work as own. That time we have to another idea we have to kept in own work, and we have not acknowledged them persons. That time we have to consider it. That is the plagiarism. Copying words is or ideas of another person without specifying the original authorship, not using quotation marks. That time we have considered that is the plagiarism. Giving incorrect information about the source that it is cited, changing words but copying the sentence structure of the source without specifying the source or authorship or originality. That time we have also considered it as a plagiarism. copying so many words or idea which eventually make most of work regardless of whether the source is acknowledged or not. That time we have to consider it as a plagiarism. And the related issues of plagiarism, that reusing a research paper. That time we have in a research paper that handing a paper are already on credit for another cause is decideful. When the in a reusing research paper means sometime another persons are already on that area and which have used this research. And that time we have to not be opportunity to improve your knowledge and skill. And if you want to rework on the paper, you prepare another course, ask your current instructor for permissions to do so. It that time we have to ask that give to permissions of those people who are already done with this research paper. It's give to another to move to give a new idea of that the research. If you wish to draw on reuse portions of your previous writing in a new paper, asking your instructor for guidance. And another is collaborative works. When we have to collaborate, find the collaborative word, it means a group project. That time many contributions between there. And that constitute a plagiarism, provide that credit is given for a contributor. It's confused. It's a very to what is not be given a clear demarcated for unequal to state exactly who did what. And contribute were merged and shared. It's acknowledge all consequence equality. Another is a copyright infringement, when summarized paraphrases and brief quotation research paper are normally permissible with appropriate acknowledgement. Reproducing and distribute an entire copyright to work or significant portions of it without obtaining permissions to do so far, the copyright holder is an infringement of copyright law and legal offense, even if the violator acknowledges the source. It means when we have used someone else works, and that time we have not give to that acknowledge that persons that the authors and any persons the claim this work is copyrighted. For example, we have taken the movie song for your own video and uploaded on YouTube. That time we find the copyright claim in of your video, and that give to if you are acknowledge that persons, and if you are moved to copyright, then is give to benefit. And how to avoid the plagiarism. At that time we have to making a list of writers and viewpoint which use in the research. It's helpful. And identify the source of or material you borrow, exact wording, paragraph, idea, argument and fact. It be knowledge that. And take help of referencing tool. When in I have watched the YouTube lecture of Atanu Bhattacharya sirs, that in the base of the basic of academic right. That time he mentioned that how to avoid plagiarism, and that he referred to digital tools which help to check plagiarism, like Jotero, Miss Word, MS Word, Grammarly, all online writing web. Those are digital tools which very helpful to avoid the plagiarism and non to plagiarism. And in this topic, I have put the chat GPT, asked to chat GPT that chat GPT is given the very relevant answer. That is and that answer is the first I kept the plagiarism, that according to Johnson, plagiarism act of using someone else's work or idea without proper attribution, presenting its own original work. It can take many forms, such as copying and uh, pasting text, paraphrasing without citation, using someone else's idea or research finding without giving credit, even submitting work previously submitted by someone else as you own. That definition given that is according to Johnson. And the chat gpt also given the several related issue associated with the plagiarism, that is the lack of understanding of academic integrity. It means when we have look at that many times we have not not citing source properly. That time we have to find plagiarism. Second is cultural differences. It's considered as a plagiarism, and that is important to educate students from different culture or academic expectations and consequences of plagiarism. Pachi another is essay access to information, easy access to information. That time we have to find or avoid properly cite those sources to avoid plagiarism. This is work citation, and thank you.
You mentioned that collaborative work. When we take idea from the collaborative work, so what we have to cite it, either author name or article to avoid plagiarism.
Yes, first in the collaborative works mean someone the collaborative work together. That time the one article, and it's based on the some another people's two peoples are work on that. That time we have to cite it also, and that in the also is important things to cite the articles.
I have two questions. One is there any negative point in paraphrasing as you mentioned to avoid? And next question is paraphrasing considered as plagiarism?
Yes, first, is there any negative point in paraphrasing? It means sometimes thought and sent. If we take the some copy to another's work, that time we have to use a paraphrasing. That time it's a and negative. Sometimes we have to not give to a proper meaning to which idea we have to paraphrase it. But the negative point is paraphrasing is sometimes is not be a negative, because it's avoid to plagiarism to if you can copy to another sentence or another's.
Okay, so let me share your screen. You have given this chat GPT response also, and in that, let me share the screen. Okay, so in your slide, as we have told everybody that you have to ask a question to Chat GPT also. So we come to know how AI is working or how AI can help students. We also want to see how it can give wrong answers and how we can verify that. So you develop a critical thinking ability that you do not rely on everything that you find on internet, but you have that questioning spirit that whether this information is right or not. And that is a very important skill as a researcher or as a part of a research methodology, is to see that what I am seeing on internet is correct or not. If it is a lie, if it is wrong, then what? So that is why we told you to try Chat GPT also. So now, very interestingly, we in this response we got two citations also, in-text citations. That is a very good writing. As per research writing, this is necessary. Which yesterday, that is in our previous day also, we were telling that where are your in-text citation, and then at the end of the text citation, both the things should be linked together. If there is anything at the end of the text, it should be inside the text also, in parenthesis. So here we have in the first line and in the last line, two citations we are getting. First is Johnson 2018 and then Smith 2020. And then I think they gave you source also. Source also was given, which you have put in your citation. But that source, why are we able to identify that this is the source given by ChatGPT in the list? Can you see this and see that? How can we identify that? Johnson is number 3 and Smith is last. Okay? So alphabetically you might have arranged, mixing together with your source and this. But is there any difference? Have you made any mistake in mixing the things? If you understand this, you know how to use tools in research. If you don't understand this, then you will be caught that you are using the tools and you are not aware, you are not conscious about how to use technology or digital resources. You are easily caught. So how like smartly work with technology when you do research work. That is where you merge the things in such a way that there is your application of ideas. You are applying some of your ideas, you are thinking and then assembling the things. That is very important. Now, if you prove by your work that you have not thought at all, then it is problematic. Then use of AI in classroom is problematic. Then use of technology in classroom is problematic because students are not applying their minds. And this activity is given to you so that you apply the mind. You read it again 2-3 times and see that does it look good? Is there anything which should be avoided? I hope you are understanding, everybody. બધા સમજતા હશો કે હું શું કહેવા માંગુ છું. કારણ કે આવી ભૂલ પાછી ન થવી જોઈએ. તમારે જે રિસ્પોન્સ જનરેટ થાય એને બરાબર વાંચવો પડે 2-3 વખત અને એકો એક સેન્ટેન્સ કે શબ્દ જોવા પડે કે આમાં નિરર્થક બાબતો આવી ગઈ નથી ને, કે જે મારી ઓવરઓલ જે મારે વાત કરવી છે તેને લગતી ન હોય તો. If you are not able to do this, you are dumb. You are dumb, you are easily caught. And everybody will say that, see, that's why we tell that don't use AI. They are not applying their minds at all. We know that even if you are given books, you will not apply your minds. But when you don't apply your minds with the books, society have lesser problem. They are more like in anxiety or disturbed when you use technology. If you do the same thing with the books, they don't care. You do the same. You switch off your mind, keep a book and keep on copying from the book. Then society don't have a problem. There is a problem with society. But once you do the same thing with digital, they all will start barking like dogs. This you have done, this you have done. So we always tell that even without technology, people were doing the same thing. When there were only books, then also people were doing. But there was not a way to identify that. But now people can be caught easily. So with technology, when we work, our work becomes very easy. But if we don't apply our mind, then it becomes problematic. Then it becomes highly problematic. So this is what you have to be very careful when you generate or you search also. Google search result also, you have to be very careful. So yes, you can see the problem. APA style is there. So that you should be able to see that. Then you should have converted it into ML style. But now you have not seen it, means you have not apply your mind. You just have blindly copy pasted. And this is the problem of using technology or other things also. You are not remaining alert. You have to be very conscious with what you are doing. You have to remain alert at that moment while you are using then it is not a problematic thing. You go to people, you ask them, take their help and write, it's not a problem. Research is all about meeting people. You do survey, you go out, so it is not called copying things. But when you are doing that, you are conscious. You are taking your notes, you are writing your diary, you are meeting people, talking with them, taking interviews. So that is a good practice. In the same way, here you are meeting AI, asking AI. It is also good practice. But if you switch off your mind, then it is a bad practice. So that is where the difference is very important. Going and taking help from anybody or any technology is not a problem. But if you switch off your mind and you don't apply your mind with what you are doing, if you are not conscious, you are not able to rectify the mistakes that are committed either by human beings or by machines, then you are a dumb researcher. So this is what we have to be very careful when we use this. Now, once you got the result, now second level we come. Have you seen that there are this real people like this? If they are dummy, then have you verified that? So then it is a big mistake. No? That is what the person you cited, no, Atanu Bhattacharya sir, has said here in seminar also. If you are alert to listen, all problem is about being conscious and alert. The problem is this, that we are not alert, and then we blame technology unnecessarily. The problem is with humans who are not very alert in listening and doing the thing. He also said that Chat GPT may give you the names of the people who are non-existent, or the name of the books also which are not existent, like you people many times do in your UG PG answer books, and that you are told to write name of a critic, so you invent critics. You write the titles, the books which are not available at all. That is what normally people do. That is what machine is also doing. So if machine is learning from human behavior, why do we have a problem with machine? We should have a problem with humans first, than this. So that is to be verified. So how will you verify whether there are real book or not? Website academicwriting.com, preventing plagiarism, the last one, Smith is telling. So you have to see, avi koi website che? Is Smith writing anything on that like this? If you don't do that and you just copy paste, it's a huge mistake. That's why I gave this task you last night, that once your work is ready, now try to do this. So that is a very important skill for a researcher today, when you are supposed to use. Even if we all will tell, like teachers, universities, colleges, schools will tell that this is not to be used, students are going to use it. You just have to tell them that what mistakes you might be making when you will use this. That training is necessary. You can't ban anything now. People will use even if you will ban it. Then they will paraphrase, they will do this and then try to escape from plagiarism tool. But right way of using is to be taught. Correct way. So I hope you might have learned. તમે બધા અત્યારે જાગ્રત અવસ્થામાં હશો. તમારા પ્રેઝન્ટેશન બાકી હશે તો પણ થોડો સમય એમાંથી બહાર આવીને આ સાંભળતા હશો કે આ શું કહેવાય રહ્યું છે, કારણ કે તમારે ડેઝર્ટેશનમાં આવું કર્યું હશે તો પાછું તમારે રીરાઇટિંગ કરવું પડશે. અથવા હવે પછી કોઈ પણ રિસર્ચ પેપર કે એ તમે વાંચવા જાઓ, કારણ કે હવે આમ બહુ ઇઝી હાથમાં આવી ગયું કે આ બટન દબાવ્યું એટલે એબ્સ્ટ્રેક્ટ તૈયાર, પછી બટન દબાવ્યું એટલે પેપર તૈયાર, એટલે ફટાફટ ચલો સેમિનારમાં હવે દર મહિને 2-3 સેમિનારો કરીએ, પેપર વાંચ્યા કરીએ, સર્ટિફિકેટ ભેગા કરતા રહીએ. પણ someday when in seminar this kind of things will happen, then you will bring a very big bad name to our university also, to our department also, that this is what your teachers are teaching you to just do shortcuts with all this thing. So then you talk on plagiarism, but you are caught in plagiarism. Your presentation is on how to avoid plagiarism, but you yourself are caught in that. You don't know what to do with this. So many presentations on plagiarism, but have you not plagiarized your presentation? How will you guarantee that your presentation also is not just plagiarized? What are your views on that? What are your views on that? That is very important. So you all have written dissertation. You might have asked people in your class, done a survey, that what were the problems of plagiarism that you have done? How have you tackled this? You might have asked survey, and then real problems you might have put. Maybe facing that is very difficult. કારણ કે એમ પૂછવા જાઓ તો બધાએ જ કર્યું હોય, પ્લેજિયરિઝમ જ કર્યું હોય, તો પછી એવોઇડ તો વાત જ ક્યાં આવે? આમાં તો સાહેબને ઉલ્લુ બનાવવાના છે. સાહેબે ન પકડી લે એટલે આપણું પ્લેજિયરિઝમ નથી. હાઉ ટુ એવોઇડ પ્લેજિયરિઝમ? ટીચરના હાથમાં ન આવીએ એટલે એવોઇડ પ્લેજિયરિઝમ. Yeah, ટૂંકો પ્રેક્ટિકલ રસ્તો છે. This we all might have done. So that way you can practically ask people and see, okay, what they have done, how you to avoid the thing, what is your way of writing. That is, તમારે જાતે લખો એટલે પ્લેજરિઝમ ન થાય. કટ કોપી કરો, ત્યાં લખ્યું છે એ જ સીધું ઉઠાવો એટલે પ્લેજરિઝમ થાય જ. પછી એ સાઇટ કરો તોય પ્લેજરિઝમ કહેવાય. બધું જ સાઇટ કરી નાખ્યું છે, પણ તમારું શું એમાં? કંઈક તમારું તો હોવું જોઈએ. 20% તો તમારું હોવું જોઈએ. આખા 5 ચેપ્ટરમાં કન્ક્લુઝન તો તમારું હોવું જોઈએ. તો તમે કહો એ પણ મેં ક્યાંકથી લીધું છે, then it is the entire dissertation or entire PPT is plagiarized. Something your, after reading several things, what is your way of looking at that? So you may be questioning the people whom you are citing. તમે જેનો વિડીયો જોયો હોય, જેની બુક વાંચી હોય, તો એની સામે તમે પ્રશ્ન કરી શકો, એ આવી વાત કરે છે પણ આવું હોઈ શકે, આમ હોઈ શકે, એમ તમે કાઉન્ટર આર્ગ્યુ કરો. એટલે તમે વિચારો છો એની સામે. So here this too concern, that is good that you got the citation, but you will have to verify. So you sit and verify that. We will ask you, જો તમારી પાસે કંઈ આવે તો you tell me, so we will take you in between also. This verify both the source and see whether they are authentic or not. Is there a book by Oxford University Press known as titled as Understanding Plagiarism, which is written by Johnson R and published in 2018? Ask this question and try to get an answer. And then Smith in 2020 has written on one website, Preventing Plagiarism. Is it really there or not? That also you verify. So whatever result you get, take screenshot and share with me, so we will display here. This way. Okay, so the next one now, let us take.
Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about forms of plagiarism, and these are my personal information. Origin of the word plagiarism. So, according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word plagiarize or plagiarism comes from the Latin word plagiarius. It means kidnapper, and the word derived from the original Latin word plaga, which is a kind of net used by hunters to catch games. The word extended its meaning in Latin to include a person who stole the word rather than the children of another. And when this word entered into the English, we find that in a form of plagiaria, it kept its original meaning, that is kidnapping only. Now, what is plagiarism? So here I have taken some definitions of plagiarism from various websites and a book. So as per Plagiarism in Research, the complete guide ebook by Dipanshu D, plagiarism is a representing a part of or the entirety of someone else's work as your own, whether published or unpublished. This could be ideas, text, verbatim, and infographics. And another definition that I have taken is from the website of Oxford students, says that plagiarism is presenting work or ideas from another sources as your own with or without consent of the original author by incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement. The third definition is by Scriber. It says that plagiarism means using someone else's work without giving them proper credit. In academic writing, plagiarizing involves using words, ideas, or information from the source without citing it correctly. And at last, the definition by Oxford Dictionary, that plagiarism is the practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as one's own. Now, what is plagiarism? So, MLA Handbook of Writers of Research paper, 7th edition, noted that plagiarism is involved two kind of wrongs: using another person's idea, information, or expression without acknowledging that person's work constitutes intellectual theft, and passing of another person's idea, information, or expression as your own to get better grade or gain some other advantages. Plagiarism is also sometimes a moral and ethical offense rather than a legal or one, since some instance of plagiarism fall outside the scope of copyright infringement and legal offense. Now, forms of plagiarism. So here are some forms of plagiarism that is given in the MLA Handbook of Writers and Research paper, 7th edition. So first plagiarism I have taken is repeating or paraphrasing the word. So when someone is taking some words or a phrase or information uh, or something else from somewhere and cites something else instead of that, that is falls under this category of plagiarism. As it is mentioned in MLA Handbook for Writers and Research paper, 7th edition, this kind of plagiarism happens when without citing them, or one is repeating or paraphrasing the word or sentence that are already used by someone. For example, if the original source is this, that is, someone is taking reference from Dickens' poem that appears on a page number 625 of an essay by Wendy Martin in the book Columbia Literary History, the history of the United States. But when it is citing something with the problematic way, someone is citing that just Emily Dickinson firmly believed that. So it is called plagiarism, because the person is taking reference from the book of Wendy Martin, but citing but referring only Emily Dickinson. But if we do it without plagiarism, it should be the as Wendy Martin has suggested, Emily Dickinson firmly believed that. So this kind of plagiarism, this way we can avoid plagiarism. Second thing is taking a particularly apt phrase. So when someone is using particular phrase that is invented by another author, or we can say the word from somewhere, and not mentioning that person, it goes plagiarism. For example, someone is using the word lingua culture from the works of Michel Agar, that is in Understanding the Culture of Conversation, New York, Morrow, 1994 to 60. But it is they are writing that at the intersection of language and culture lies the concept that we might call lingua culture. For example, it means it is not mentioning Michel Agar and only using the word that is given by him or invented by him. So it is cause plagiarism. But without plagiarism, we can write it at like this: at the intersection of language and culture lies a concept that Michel Agar has told. So the name of that person who invented that word, it is very important to use here, called lingua culture. And now here I have put one chart that is given in the Plagiarism in Research, the complete guide ebook, that is showing the percentage of plagiarism that which is at the higher level and which is at the lower level. So at the top we find paraphrasing is the most common forms of plagiarism happening around us, and the lesser is verbatim, is 59%. Now the third one is global or complete plagiarism. For example, someone is taking some author's work entirely, or taking everything in their work, and without and not even mentioning that person or that author. It is called global or complete plagiarism. It is deliberately committed act that recognized under copyright violation and can lead to intellectual property, or we can say legal battles also sometimes. And the next one is verbatim or direct plagiarism. So according to Plagiarism in Research, the complete guide ebook, we find that this type of plagiarism happen when someone copy a part of someone else's work, we can say word to word, or without, and even not providing that credit or attribute to them. So that cause plagiarism sometimes. And when the I or in other words, we can say that when the idea, structure, and diction in someone's work would match the original author's work, it cause plagiarism, or it is considered as a plagiarism. Even if you were not changed the few word, even if someone is changing few words, or we can say position of sentences from here to there, it only considered as a plagiarism only. It remain as a plagiarism. And to avoid this kind of plagiarism, one should use quotation marks, or we can say in-text citations, or we can say use the name of original source or the author, to avoid this kind of plagiarism. The fifth one that I have taken is source based plagiarism. So it is mentioned in the guide ebook, the complete guide ebook of plagiarism in research, that this type of plagiarism happen when, we can say, someone trying to mislead or disguise the natural source of their work. For example, someone is taking something or some papers or some information from somewhere, but and also cite something, but when the reviewer try to reach that site, the sites are leading somewhere else instead of leading the original source. So this kind of thing we call plagiarism only. And another instance in when someone use both primary and secondary data to support your argument, but only cite the former with no reference for the latter, that is called plagiarism only. Now six is ghostwriting. So this kind of plagiarism happen when, we can say, one person is pay someone else or some research scholar to write, edit, or we can say to proofreading for her or his work, or not doing by his or herself, but taking credit to them, and give work to do someone else. That kind of plagiarism is called ghostwriting. Ghostwriting is an act of using acknowledged person's assistant to complete a paper. And we can, if we take a reference from the plagiarism in research, the complete guide ebook, we find that this kind of plagiarism raises serious questions about the academic capabilities of an author. And the last one, the another one I have taken is self plagiarism. So it is something that someone is using reference, or we can say some informations of his or her own work, own previous work, but not citing or not referring that source. That is also called plagiarism. For example, someone is using some quote, or we can say some word that is already used in his or her own previous work, but it is not, but when second time he or she is using that word or phrase, they are not mentioning that it is already used in my previous words. That is called plagiarism. And the main reason that why self plagiarism is fallacy is because you are trying to claim credit for something that you have already received credit for. So for that purpose, this kind of plagiarism is very important. And the last form of plagiarism is accidental plagiarism. So this kind of plagiarism happens sometimes inadvertently. So we find that sometimes, because of the unconsciously we miss to use the some we can say quotations or in-text citations or something, that is also called plagiarism. And by doing, we can say, by doing proofreading, one can easily avoid this kind of plagiarism. And this is the answer that I have got from ChatGPT. I have put the question that give detailed note on forms of plagiarism, and ChatGPT give me very relevant uh, argument or relevant answer from my that is in my research work. He give it give me some points that copy and paste plagiarism, self plagiarism, paraphrasing plagiarism, plagiarism, verbatim plagiarism, or idea plagiarism, or image plagiarism. But when I have analyzed this all the things, we find that it is very shallow kind of information that it give. Like, it is not giving me, providing me examples. If I'm asking that provide me example, then only it is giving me. But before that, it is not providing me examples, or sometimes the information that I have got is like a shallow. It is not uh, uh, going into deep way. Thank you. These are my personal information, and these are the citations. Okay, so verbatim plagiarism is a kind of plagiarism that is like someone when someone is copying your work or someone's work word by word and not even referring that is we can call that it is a kind of verbatim or direct plagiarism, and mainly it happens intentionally. It is happens, it is not unintentional act, but intentionally it is happened that you know, you are aware about that you are copying someone somewhere else from somewhere else, and you are not citing that thing.
Himanshi, I have two questions. First question is, can accidental plagiarism is known as unintentional plagiarism?
Yes, it is accidental plagiarism is a similar to
Plagiarism.
unintentional plagiarism, but it is, though it is problematic, plagiarism is problematic.
And second one is, what is post plagiarism? As you mentioned that idea of post plagiarism.
Can you put a light on that, on what context?
Yes, when you discuss about the forms of plagiarism in fourth or fifth time.
Okay, let proper complete plagiarism. What is your question? What is the
What
post
is the post plagiarism?
complete? Um, Hirva, I have not mentioned the post plagiarism. Instead of that, I have mentioned source based plagiarism.
No, you have mentioned. I
Okay,
have 10 afterwards. Okay.
okay.
Plagiarism? What is?
Sir, she has mentioned.
What was that? What? Which number was it? In the main topic, there is nothing like that. Main point, no? Ghost writing and that. So from where you got that? So this also is a part of research methodology, that you have to be very particular about what you are asking. Without proof or evidence, if you do anything, it means research methodology is not learned properly. Then only this all happens. These are our normal behavior as a human being, that we are very casual in everything. Now, when it comes to research methodology, we have to be very particular about everything that we do. This is the huge change. So, as a student, we are very casual in learning everything, but as a researcher, we have to be very particular about everything that we speak. A single word should not be uttered without a background of that, or if somebody is asking question, I have something to explore, something to tell, something to give about that. Okay, fine. Next one.
Sir, can I start now? Yes. So, hello everyone. I am Emisha Ravani, and today I am going to deal with the topic that is qualitative and quantitative research and what sets them apart in the paper of research methodology. These are my informations. Yes. So, what is qualitative research? That is qualitative analysis oriented in gathering information, focuses on describing a phenomenon across a larger number of participants, thereby providing the possibility of summarizing characteristics across groups or relationships. So, qualitative research method is basically uh, when we do the non numerical work in our research, and it focuses on the characteristics of or the abstract things which are not quantifying, and the study of groups while we are going for these social relationships and all those things. And the qualitative approach to gathering information focuses on describing a phenomenon in a deep, comprehensive manner. So now we know that what is quantitative research and qualitative research. Quantitative research, when we want to find out or numbers, or basically it goes with the quantity which shows the data analysis, or that kind of thing. And qualitative research is the when you go to the study any phenomenon, ideas, or like that, test hypothesis. It is based on the hypothesis which form in the test. And qualitative research that formulate hypothesis, it is the form of the formulations expressed in numbers. As we know that quantity is always comes with numbers and expressed in words. That is qualitative research. Larger sample size. Quantity research, when we do, we got samples in a larger form. And qualitative research, it works like smaller sample size, like it goes to from individual to the group. Math and statistical analysis, which fall down in the box of quantitative research, and summarize, categorize, and interpretation. And we can see that these three things, which is very personal. So when researcher is doing research uh, while using the qualitative research method, then these things are there to follow. Now, qualitative research is deemed to be much more fluid and flexible than quantitative research, in that it emphasizes discovering novel or unanticipated findings and the possibility of alternating research plans in response to such uh, serendipitous occurrences. So here basically it wants to say that qualitative research is more flexible than quantitative research. It focuses on finding unexpected or new discoveries and allows researchers to change their plans if something unexpected happens during the research process. So here we can see that qualitative research is more flexible. Now we are going to the points that what sets them apart. So first is orientation of meaning. So when we go to that point, we find that qualitative literature research is studying the phenomenon, and quantitative research is studying the measuring and quantifiable content of the research. Data, let's say for example, we want to analyze the color blue color. So if we go to apply the qualitative research, we will go to spot it the blue color, like how blue color is interpretation by the people, like color is cool and all. And if we apply the theory, that is quantitative research, it measure the blueness of color blue. So now we can get the idea from the example. Second point is data and cases. So qualitative literature, that is good data. Form of the data is like from small to many it can be applied. And in the quantitative research, that is particular number of data. And when we collect the so many responses from the people, but it will be applied for the few cases. Hypothesis and founding. Qualitative research, that is a new founding, and quantitative research will predetermine. When we go to the this point, then we find that if researcher is applying the qualitative research in between, during the research is going on, so if researcher is finding a new way to look at the research, then it will be flexible for the researcher if he or she is applying the qualitative research. But if quantitative research, it is also predetermined. Then another point is researchers' conceptual roles. So qualitative research will always more the side of researcher rather than the research. And quantitative research, there the researcher has to play the role of the designer, or the data is already done, but how to design the data and research, that role is of the researcher. Then the sensitivity is uh, more in the qualitative research rather than the quantity research. Then the goal is, when researcher apply the qualitative research, it is a descriptive goal he or she will find. And if you are applying the quantity research, then researcher will find the specific variables measures in the form of goal. Now, since all research methods have costs and benefits, and since they differ greatly in their particular cost and benefits, a researcher generally finds it best to use some combination or mixture of methods. So it is not like that from these only two methods are there. If researcher is going to research both the data, like descriptive and as well as the numerical data or the measurements kind of data, so researcher has to use the multiple kind of methods, or he or she can use first qualitative and quantitative, or as per their trajectory of research it will be fall. When we speak of quantitative and qualitative methodologies, we are in the final analysis speaking of an interrelated set of assumptions about the social world, which are philosophical, ideological, and epistemological. They are encompasses more than simply data gathering techniques. So this view is by the Bremen. Now the method another I have put, that is triangulation method. Triangulation method refers to the use of multiple methods or data sources in qualitative research to develop a comprehensive understanding of phenomena. Here the four types of the triangulation method. That is, first is method triangulation. In that, researcher can use the different kind of methods or multiple methods. When researcher wants to use the theory triangulation, then researcher has can use the different types of theory in the research. Second is the investigator triangulation. In that, when research is done by the two or more than two researchers to get the more observation, then theory will be applicable. Data source triangulation. In that, data from different types of like group or the individual or community, different kind of we can take on that. These are my work citation. And this answer is from ChatGPT, and it gives me like not in detail, but whatever it gave me, that is true, I can found. And also it gave me the points which I can read to get the general idea about my topic.
Citation of the things are given in the result.
No, sir. PPT.
That way it was not given. Any citation of the things.
It
And
gives me very general ideas about these methodologies.
so like earlier also Himanshi told the same, but then you have to again ask question. Then it gives you something particular, examples. So first general, then you ask particular point that in this, can you explain me with the points, then are you getting anything or not? That way you have to interact with that by asking the prompts or questions to that. So then what you get, and then you can ask that, can you cite sources for this? What is the authentic source for this? Then you get, and then you can verify whether those sources are authentic or not.
Yes, sir.
That is, these are the steps. These questions are necessary things for research scholar. That how deeply and in variety of ways you can raise question. That then your mind is growing as a researcher. Not only straight line questions, but nearby questions. If you keep on asking, then perhaps you may get this things, or you are at least your mind is getting a training. That research means asking variety of questions in variety of ways. The same question can also be raised or asked. Okay, in your citers, in your last slide, you have referred to this. That have you cited that? Let me share the screen. In triangulation method, Denzine pattern.
Sir, that I got from that third one citation from the COP.
The use of triangulation.
Yes.
In that you got that.
Yes. And when I went to the original source to find, so it was not accessible for me. And I tried to request them to make access for me, but it was not there. So I just adopt from this research paper of the COP. Then
So that also is a problem. So if you are not able to access, then also here it is fine for PPT, but that is what you have to mention when you either speak or write. That this I have referred to this, and I tried to access the original, but it was not accessed. The screenshot also you can put. So you are very clear about what you are showing here. And this is very important as a part of research again, that what sources are made available in public domain and what kind of sources are paid, which you are not able to access. At least screenshot you can put that this source is not available.
sir, yesterday I was looking for the research paper that is from JSTOR, and I could not able to download from the JSTOR, so I request them, and they make me able to download the PDF.
Acha. Okay.
So it was my new experience, and then I just requested to this for this only, but it was not working. I
So
have that
this
screenshots
one,
of-
that is the econometric society, that you were able to get?
Sorry, sir, which one?
This article from Jester, which you have cited, that you got?
No,
Or
sir.
the earlier the question of method or epistemology?
Debate about the
Quantitative and qualitative
that-
research. Okay. That you
And
were
they
able to
sent
get
me
from
PDF.
British Journal of Sociology.
Yes, they sent me the whole PDF
Okay.
from
In
downloaded.
email they have sent.
Email, and there is also a chat box. We can do chat with them, and they make available for us.
That was on Jester or British Journal Sociology site?
From Jester.
Jester,
Yes.
Okay, so that is one good experience. That way you can request also,
Yes.
and you may get a chance to access that also.
And that another one, they are telling me that it is not from your area or something like that. So you won't be able to access that.
Exactly what? Not something like that.
Okay.
That is not a language of a research scholar. So that is where you have to be particular, not something like this or that, but what exactly they say there are several materials which are geographic specific. So they are not available in some countries according to copyright laws or rules.
Sir, I'll go to again there and then I'll find that.
That also you have to be particular when you speak as a researcher,
Yes.
not general this or that, but what exactly they were trying to say. Okay, now this you cited academia, which we are telling you time and again, academia or research gate, which we tell that they are not publishers. They are the people who allow anybody to have their account and publish their research paper. Whether they are research paper or not, we don't know. But anybody can put there. So it is not very reliable. JSTOR also is cataloging the journals, but is still authentic because they have their own checklists to do. Anybody cannot open an account on JSTOR and start uploading. If I want to upload my articles on JSTOR, I cannot do. Whereas ResearchGate and academia, I can. So if something is very open where anybody can open account and access, the reliability of that platform decreases. I hope you are understanding this. The reliability of because there is nobody to check on that what is coming is right or wrong, or whatever way it is. I say this is my paper published in so and so journal, but it is not a proof. I have to go to the journal and then verify. Then only I know, because anybody can tell that I is published in journal. It is not so. I can publish it on Academia and ResearchGate, even if it is not published anywhere. So that is what people can easily do. Now, because of digital tools, you can prepare your Word document exactly as journals are preparing. In header, they will write volume number so and so, journal name, italics, the same design they will create in Word, and it seems like this is actually been published in so and so journal. But if it is only on ResearchGate and I don't verify with that journal, it is not.
Sir, when I went to the works cited of this work, so I tried to go to the original when someone is publishing, and then it went to this website to be published. So I checked out like that.
So that if you have reached there, then that directly you can cite.
Okay.
For example, if you click this website, this link, then you come to this academia page where this article is uploaded. Here you come. And then you can see that full. You can download PDF. It is made available. You can view that is University of the Rockies. This is a student guide. So this is a student guide that is written. So it says table of content. And this, so it is like a course prepared
So
by.
actually, I think my citation got wrong, because I didn't get this when I could.
No, but this is what I have opened from the link. Your citation. When I click, it came to this. This is the copy paste I have done again. This is this one. Okay. This one it is. Sinaga Alden.
Yes.
Okay, previous one was the another one. Okay, so this when you see, it's a short essay. And in which journal is it published? Now this doesn't seem to be published in any journal. You seeing this? So this is self-publication. Like you make assignments and you publish here, but it is not journal article. So it is short essay only, published nowhere. Getting the point? That is what we are telling. That here you can do self publications, which is not that reliable as journal publication. So when we reach at this place, we find that well, this is people doing their own publication, but to what extent one can rely on this page. Header, footer, there's nothing in there. Some references are given, so at least we can slightly rely on this. But the person is the person's identity or profile about who is the writer, that is still in doubt, or we'll have to search again with Eldon MHP Sinaka, that who is this person. So that's why this designation writing is important. In seminar also, when we submit abstract, why it is necessary. So without that, who is this abstract writer? How can we relate? If it is a UG student, PG student, research scholar, assistant professor, associate professor. Likewise, according to designation, the quality of that increases. The people who would rely on that, that reliability will increase depending upon who is the writer. So that's why that all things are necessary in writing the thing. So once I am sitting down to cite, then I want those resources to verify. So this way you have to do cross-checking, and then you, if it is passes that okay, this is authentic, then let me use that. Otherwise, not. Otherwise, the same thing. If I can find from another resource, like what I am trying to say is difference between qualitative and quantitative. Maybe I will get a better book also, rather than this. So let me still try to get a better book for this. Okay, so that also a good case study to see that how we may still not get to the right resource. Yes, yeah.
I have taken some data from JSO's article, Plagiarism article is a name. But when I have taken the data, they have mentioned BBC in their article. So when I go to that references, they are not showing me the thing. Like when I go and search, so only this JSON article is individually this article. So should
I have to see that. When I will see the thing or you share the link, then I can see. So without seeing, if I start talking, then I am doing the same mistake, which I am telling you to avoid it. Are you getting the point? So that is why we have to share proper links when we ask. This is the link, this is what I am doing, this is another link, then people can give a proper answer. So once you undergo a research program, your way of asking changes drastically. Then another students who don't do research program, they will throw questions like anything. Whereas under the research program, you will know how to ask questions, how you locate your question in a context and then ask, so you get a particular answer. Otherwise, you ask a general question, you get general information. And then as we say that ChatGPT is giving only general information because our question was general. I get general answer. I ask particular, I get particular answer also. So that also we learn. This is a very good learning if you think in that way. So when other person will say that, well, this is like this or that, then you will say that you don't know what is that. It means you don't know still what is that. So you are making such observations or such comments also. So either you can show me so I can check it, or you can share that link here, so I will see, and then you can ask me what is the question also. Okay, yes, questions are to be asked. Yes, yeah.
So mainly what we get is qualitative research is mainly gain more importance. But do you find any field in which quantitative research work is paying like more importance or getting more importance rather than qualitative?
Okay. Quantitative research, uh, if you want to, let's say for example, if you want to do research the group of farmers in agriculture, so it depends on what you want. Like you are researching for the farmers who are facing such kind of problems, which is emotional, or we can say the descriptive answer you will get in that. So at that time you can use qualitative. But if you want to research on the numbers data which uses the numbers, so you have to be in the quantitative researcher. And when you go to the scientific research program and math uh, research program related to math, so you have to use quantitative research rather than qualitative research.
Emisha, my question is, according to you, which method is best in research methods like qualitative, quantitative, or triangulations method?
Again, it depends on how you want to get the result of your research. Like if you want to get the result in from your research in the form of the numbers, you have to use quantitative. And if you want to get the descriptive analysis of your research, you have to use qualitative research. And triangulation method is something when you are getting your research in such complexities, and if you find out the answer in number of forms, then you have to use triangulation method. Thank you.
Okay, so both questions are very good, and you all need to like still explore more. This by asking this, and you can search material also. There are lots of material on qualitative, quantitative research. So, which area specifically wants qualitative and quantitative that one can identify? Normally, when we talk about PhD work, research in humanities, like in literature, it is qualitative.
Social sciences.
So in social sciences, qualitative as well as quantitative. So when you work with data, survey data, then it becomes quantitative. So you are quantifying the things. When things are quantified, there are tangible numbers which are analyzed through SPSS kind of software, and people prepare charts, tables. That is called quantitative, quantifiable data are used. And when you are talking about hypothesis, theory, application of theory, where analysis and interpretation is more important rather than data or charts or figures, then it becomes qualitative. And now, qualitative doesn't mean it is of a good quality, and quantitative is of lesser quality. It has as such nothing to do with quality. So it is that word qualitative is more theoretical research, we can say, and the another one is related with the practical realities of the area which is under survey. So whatever data you get, you rely on the data and make your conclusions. If you get a different kind of a data, your conclusion is different. So if one area is studied by two researchers, and if they ask the questions to a different set of people, even if the same area is studied, there may be different data, and they may get different findings also. Okay, yes, next one now.
Good afternoon, friends. I would like to start my presentation with this quote by Nazim Fatehpuri. दबाया है झूठों ने सच इस कदर से. It is very related to our topic, that is plagiarism. So दबाया है झूठों ने सच इस कदर से, what research scholars might be failed. दबाया है झूठों ने सच इस कदर से कि सच भी ये सच में सलामत नहीं है, कि सच भी ये सच में सलामत नहीं है. So my presentation topic is role of paraphrasing in research writing. This is my information. So first, table of content. First of all, I'm going with meaning and what is importance of paraphrasing in to avoid plagiarism in academic writing or research writing, and how to paraphrase some online tools and work citation. Meaning. What does paraphrase mean in research writing? So according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, a restatement of a text, passage or work giving the meaning in another form. So this image, if we notice that the girl is painting in the way that the tree, what she drew is in the other shape, and what another that this sun and other things, there is a slight change, but the subject that we find that is still in the same way. So rewording, that we can say, and other mean is that rewriting the same information in a different way. It helps us to better to integrate the ideas into the particular piece that we are writing. What Ramdhani said, that paraphrasing is a part of a process of understanding and responding to a specific writing passage. This means that the writers should deal with the people's idea to get the whole explanation of the source text. Now, what is the importance? That the importance of paraphrasing is that it gives us a powerful alternative to use direct quotes, which should be used infrequently. So the quote that given by author that we copy pasted in our writing, that leads to plagiarism. But what we understand through this that particular quote, and then we write that something that helps us to avoid plagiarism. So it is a useful way to use source material for research paper, and providing it is appropriate reference. And what here Na and Chime found in about second language writers, that it prevents learners from plagiarizing, as experienced second language writer who are familiar with paraphrasing techniques have been found to rely less on source texts than their novice peers. Paraphrasing can also shows learners understanding. It is very important to understand that particular quote or the particular passage by author, rather than just giving it to if we can say that in we are now using online tools very much to paraphrase to paraphrase particular text. So if we can say that it is very important to know what is paraphrasing, in the way that what we found, what we understand from the text, that should be summarized in the way, in a particular manner, rather than to paraphrase, or rather than to change the synonyms of the particular word. So how to paraphrase? As Tanu Bhattacharya sir said that avoiding repeating yourself. So while paraphrasing particular text, we might be failed with like what we understand that from particular text, we repeating again and again in our analysis. So what this means that we have to analyze what we analyze in more specific way. Then avoid quoting someone else exactly. What Shakespeare in that image, we can say this image from Twitter account, Hull University Library, that in what Shakespeare quote and the second image that is quote like similarly, but what exact third image when we go, that is a very less number of words that we find, but still significance in the analyzed method. So third one is change your vocabulary and do not repeat. So synonyms of the words helps us. And another thing is develop your own voice in your writing. So again, that what we paraphrase the word, what we put synonyms of that word. In that synonyms, we have to analyze more of that particular sentence in our own voice. What we understand from the text, what author said in that particular text, or what critic said in that particular text, and what we understand, plus the synonyms, plus that active, plus we can change voices, we can change word synonyms, as I said, we can change grammatical structures also, and in that particular qualitative method. Now, online tools, I found two free online tools in that it not give completely free. In some in midway it provide we have to pay in this website. This is online website, and another Grammarly and other sites also, that online tools we easily copy paste from the text, and we can easily paraphrase. What ChatGPT gives the answers. Again, ChatGPT also said that the understanding we have to about that particular text, it is necessary. I gave the prompt as the presentation topic. Paraphrasing is the act of restating. Merriam-Webster said that restatement is the important aspect here. So restating information or ideas from a source in your own words. So it plays an important role in research writing because it allows writers to integrate the ideas of others into their own work. So we can, it is very reliable for what paraphrasing in research writing, while still maintaining academic integrity. We can still maintain academic integrity. So here the reason that point-wise GPT give that avoiding plagiarism, as we know, then demonstrating understanding. So paraphrasing shows that a writer understands the ideas they are writing about. So I also before this searching about paraphrasing, I also believed that paraphrasing is just like you can change the words, you can change the sentence, but GPT gives that right analysis, that it shows what we paraphrased from that particular text. It understand what we understand from that particular ideas, and we rewrite that by putting the ideas into their own words. And writers are demonstrating that they have read and comprehended the source material. Then third one is integrating source. Paraphrasing allows writers to integrate the ideas of others into their own work seamlessly. By paraphrasing, writers can include information from source without disrupting the flow of their writing. And other thing is providing evidence. Paraphrase can be used as provides to support argument in research writing. By paraphrasing, writers can provide examples of other scholars who have studied the same topic and come to similar conclusion. This point I found very new in that paraphrasing. So at the end, GPT said that overall paraphrasing is an important tool for writers in research writing. It allows writers to integrate the ideas of others into their own work while still maintaining academic integrity and demonstrating understanding of the topic. GPT is not providing any work citation or index citation. This is work citation. Thank you.
Okay, now, see, in our one response, we got citation. So now we'll have to say that GTP has not provided citation in my response. Not generally, GTP is not providing that sentence we cannot make, because we have seen in our group that somebody is getting that. So we have to slightly change our linguistic marker, and that we have to change. Okay. Yes, questions? Ask.
Okay, so while paraphrasing something, have you faced any problems, especially a grammar problem?
While paraphrasing a paragraph, I found that while I paraphrase in my dissertation topic, I found that while the tool during that putting synonym words, I felt that the meaning is somewhere that changed, slightly changed that particular meaning. So that problem that I found.
Yes. While we are doing research work, so is there any other importance of the paraphrasing apart from the avoiding plagiarism and all these things? And do you think it may help researchers to develop more understanding while through areas they are working in?
Yes, as in the presentation, as I said, that paraphrase is not only just replace the words or replace the sentence whole, but it is something that, sorry, paraphrasing is in that we have to understand authors or critics or their what they analyze analyzed in the particular text. Then we have to then we have to analyze in our words and in our analysis. Thank you.
I tried one thing in grammar error in paraphrasing. That while we are paraphrasing, sometimes he is there. So it changes to she and her to him. So we should also take care while writing. Full, the meaning changes. I agree, Emisha.
Yes, in Quillbot, they also provide in the while paraphrased, they also provide a list of particular word what we wants to paraphrase in that. So while orange line is there, while we arrowing that orange line, the particular list of synonyms words they provide. So it is might be it is plus point of that online tool that provide us to we can get synonym words to analyze our what we understand from the text. We can easily analyze from that synonym words.
Okay. on YouTube questions. If anybody wants to reply, you can. In YouTube stream.
Sir, classroom is closed here, so I'm opening.
Go into another classroom. You have to see which login ID you are using for classroom. This is the response to the question that was asked. When asked to chat GPT, this, it gave this reply.
Should I start?
You can share your screen, full screen you can do like that.
Hello everyone, myself Divya Parmar, and today I'm going to present here upon a format of the research paper. Table of content, definition of research, meaning of research, what is research methodology, objectives of research methodology, format of research paper, conclusion and citation. Definition of research. The Department of Education and Training defines research as follows. Research is defined as the creation of new knowledge and or the use of exciting knowledge in new or a creative way so as to generate new concepts, methodologies, and understandings. This could include synthesis and analysis of the previous research to extent that is leads to new and creative outcomes. Uh, According to Merriam-Webster, research means investigation or experimentation aimed at the discovery and interpretation or facts, revisions or accepted the theories or laws in the light of new facts, or the practical application of such new revised theories or laws. Uh, the another definition is the collecting of information about a particular subject and the careful or delight search. Meaning of research. According to C.R. Kothari, research is a scientific and a systematic search for a pertinent information on a specific topics. It is an art of the scientific investigation and a movement for the known to the unknown, a voyage of a discovery. Randman and Amori define research as a systematized efforts to gain new knowledge, while the Advanced Learners Dictionary of the Current English describes it as a careful investigation in inquiry, especially throughout search for new facts in any branch of knowledge. Inquisitiveness is the mother of the all knowledge, and research is the method by which we obtain knowledge of the unknown. According to Ranjit Kumar, there are a various ways to obtain answers to professional questions, ranging from informal to scientific methods. Research is one of these methods which can imply adherence to set of philosophies, tested procedures, and unbased objectivity. The author mentions different research paradigms and the approaches such as a positivist, interpretive, phenomenology, action, or a participatory, feminist, qualitative, and a quantitative, which are conditioned by the academic disciplines and a personal experiences. The concept of a validity ensures that the correct procedures are applied. Reliability ensures the repeatability and the accuracy, and unbased objectivity means drawing conclusions to the best of one's ability without introducing personal interest. The author differentiates between the subjectivity and bias, where as former is a conditioned by a personal background and a discipline, and the latter is a deliberate attempt to the conceal or highlights something. Overall, undertaking a research study implies adherence to these expectations. This is the question which I have asked to Chat GPT, that what is a research methodology, uh, and it's give very near answer that research methodology refers to the overall approach and the techniques used to conduct reason, including the design of a research study, collection or data, and analysis of result. It involves the systematic investigation of a problem or a issue using a set of a predefined methods and techniques together, and analyze data in order to draw conclusion and make recommendations. We can see that this paragraph is similar to my previous slide. Research methodology is an important component of any research project, as it helps to ensure that the research is conducted in a rigorous and systematic manner, and that the results are valid and reliable. There are many different research methodologies that can be used depending on the nature of the research questions and the type of data that is being collected. Some common research methodologies include qualitative research, quantitative research, mixed method research, case studies, and action research. The another question I have asked to Chat GPT, that give me to the objectives of the research methodologies, and the answer is the research methodology is concerned with the principles and the procedures of the conducting research in a systematic and scientific manner. The objects of a research methodology are the different aspects that are studied and analyzed in order to ensure that the research process is well designed and effective. Some of the main objectives in research methodology includes research design, data collection methods, simplified techniques, data analysis, ethical considerations, validity and reliability. Overall, the object of the research methodology are concerned with the ensuring that the research process is well designed, rigorous and ethical, and that the result obtained the trustworthy and meaningful. So the format of the research paper. Students should check their instructor specific requirements for the format of a research paper before preparing the final draft. The recommendations of presentation in the chapter are the most common and assume that the paper will be prepared using word processor. Uh, Additionally, the students should keep both printout and electronic copies of their paper in the list two places where it is submitting it. First one is margins. Leave the margin of the 1 inch at the top of the top and bottom and one both sides of the text. So when we uh, writing our research paper in docs, we can find that in side we are putting margins. If you use paper larger than 8.5 by 11 inches, do not print the text in a area greater than 6.5 by 9 inches. Indent the first word of a paragraph 1/2 inch from the left margin and indent cells of quotations in each from the left margin. Second is the text formatting. Always choose an easily readable typeface. Example here give is in Times New Roman. Ensure the regular type style contrast clearly with the italic style. Set the typeface to a standard size such as 12 points. Do not justify the lines of the text at the right margin. Turn off the automatic hyphonic feature of your word processor. Double space the entire research paper, including the quotation, notes, and the list of work cited. Leave the one space after the a period or other concluding punctuation marks unless your instructor prefers two spaces. The third one is heading and titles. A research paper does not require a title page, but certain information must be included on the first page. When we in research paper here mentioned that the research paper does not require a title page, but while we writing a dissertation, we are putting separate page for the heading of a separate title. The first page should have 1 inch margin at the top and begin with the author's name, instructor's name, and course number and date. The double space between lines and centers the title on the page. The title should not be italicized, underlined in a quotation in quotation marks or typed in all capital letters. So here is a specify instruction about the title that it not should be the italicized or be under full underlined in quotation marks and all in capital letters. Follow the rules for the capitalization and only italicized words that would be italicized in the text. Do not use a period after the title or any heading in the paper. If a title page is required, follow the given instructions for formatting. Page numbers. Number of all pages consecutively throughout the research paper in the upper right hand corner, 1/2 each from the top and flush with the right margin. Type your last name before the page number and to prevent the misplaced pages. Automatic numbering by your word processor will save your time and efforts. So while writing dissertation, we face this automatic page numbering save our time. A running head can be created using your last name and the page number. Do not use abbreviations, periods, hyphens, or symbols with the page number. The word processor may automatically insert the running head on every page, but it is important to follow your teacher's preference. If your teacher prefers, do not include the numbers on the first page. Tables and illustrations. Tables and illustrations should be placed as close as possible to the relevant text. Uh, when we analysis any data or we research on the data, we so many times we make tables and illustrations for providing source to our research. A table should be labeled as table given an Arabic numeral and title, and the label and title should be typed flush left on the separate lines and capitalized as title. The source of the table and any notes should be given below to the table in caption. Notes to the table should be designed with the lowercase of letters. Here, any other type of illustration should be labeled as a figure given an Arabic numeral and title. The label and captions should appear directly below to the illustrations and have one each margins. If a caption provides a complete information about the source, an entry for source in the work cited list is necessary. Software for creating tables and illustrations can be automatically numbered and set them appropriately into the text and generate a listing of all the tables and illustrations created for the paper. The next one is paper and printing. Use the only white 8.5 by 11 each paper for good quality. If you like 8.5 by 11 each paper, use the closest size available. Use a high quality printer. Most instructors prefer papers to printed on the single side, but uh, some instructors encourage printing of both sides as a means of conserving papers. The next one is a correction and the insertations. Uh, Proofread and the correct your research paper carefully before submitting it. When we use docs or a word while writing our research paper, we find that our grammatical mistake or any other spell mistake uh, uh, underlined with red, so we come to know that there is our something is our mistake, and by uh, proofreading 2 or 3 times we can easily find our own mistakes and we can correct it. If you find mistake in the final copy, reopen the word processing file, make the appropriate revisions, and reprint the corrected page or pages. It happens sometimes that we finally done with our research paper typing and all those things are complete, but sometimes it is happen that the things are rearranged. So before submitting or printing it, we have to recheck it. Be sure to save the changed file. Sometimes it's happened that we change, and if we forgot to save that changes, would seems like a mistake in a final copy. Use spelling and usage checkers with the cautions. If your instructor permits brief correction on the printout, write them neatly and legibly in ink directly above the lines involved, using creates commas to indicate where they go. Do not use the margins or write a change below the line it affects. If corrections of any page are numerous and substantial, revise your file and reprint the page. Binding and electronic submission. Pages of the research paper can get misplaced or lost if left untouched or folded down at the corner. Plastic folders or the other types of binders may be seems attractive but can be a nuisance for instructor in reading the commenting or a student's work. Most instructors prefer the papers to be secured with a simple paper or a binder clip that can be easily removed and restored. Some instructors prefer the use of staples or secure the pages of the research paper, and binding make our work easy. Like we have not have to arrange every time our papers. It binding it Once we arrange the paper and binding done, then we don't think about paper will be rearranged. The electronic submission. Currently, there are no widely accepted standard for electronic submitting research papers. But for our security, if our handy print out may be misplaced or something change we want to do, we can put one copy like as electronic way. In digital way, we can put one copy for us. If asked to submit your paper electronically, obtain guidelines from your teachers on the formatting and the mode of a submission and follow them closely. To facilitate discussion of your work, incorporate references markers in the paper if it does not include the page numbers. Paragraphs in electronic publications may be numbered, and in using this system, place the appropriate numbers in square brackets at the beginning of each paragraph. uh, Conclusion. Thus, to conclude the presentation, my presentation talk about the formation of the research paper. Each and every point which is described in a presentation is very important to make proper research paper. And my research paper is a very my presentation is upon the informative basis from the book MLA. These are my citations.
Some of you have cited the name also for MLA handbook. Do you remember? Some of you have, when you have cited this book, you have cited the name also. Is it so? Is there anybody's name as a writer that you can cite? Or it is general MLA handbook only that you have to cite? Some Gibaldi, if you have cited. Okay, let us take by the time questions. Who is coming first?
At the very beginning of your presentation, you have mentioned in your slides like definition of research and all, and then we got the answer from the chat GPT about that. So how now, nextly, how will you define the research? Sorry, I just remove this and I replace my question. And research, going through your presentation and after chat GPT, how will you define that?
When I read about the several definitions from my presentation I have mentioned. So after reading that definition, and while I go to the chat GPT to get answer, so when we read both, we can find that there are the answer is very close or very near, and the points also is like similar to each. So that there is no any source or citation given in chat gpt, but while I'm using name and read definition, it the meaning or the basic information is the same in both.
In your definition of research, you cited several. One, Western Sydney University was cited.
Yes.
Yeah, so that also was that research is defined as the creation of new knowledge, or one can say use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way. So you can generate new concepts, methodologies, and understandings also. So either way, either you create new knowledge or use the existing knowledge to develop some newer kinds of understandings. And then you also refer to according to Kothari, which also is a very good definition. Research is a scientific and systematic search for pertinent information on a specific topic. So it is scientific, a very important point. Research is a scientific, so scientific methods are required where the very basic idea is based on evidences, some proof, some evidence that, and systematically it is the work is done. So your question to ChatGPT was about methodology, not about research.
Yes.
You say what is research methodology, so that will be different than what is research. So be clear about this, what is research and what is research methodology. You can also ask what is the difference between methods and methodologies. Then also you will find interesting answers. What is the difference between methods and methodologies?
So I have used that name.
Hmm.
It's given in the original text.
Hmm.
The name is Vivaldi Joseph.
Joseph Gibaldi is there. So in your citation, the name is not there. So you can check this, that the book that you referred to, was it having a name or not?
Sir, by the time I want to share my one experience with ChatGPT, while I am writing dissertation, I have asked several original shlok numbers which describe about Ram's character. So ChatGPT is giving the numbers and shloks. But while I'm going to cross check that shloks and numbers, then I couldn't find the right number or the even similar shlokas there in original website. And another thing is, while I am asking uh, for comparative objectives, then it gives a very good answer. But then I ask for the original source for citation, then chat gpt gives some of sources. Then I for cross checking, I have go for the original work. So which chat gpt give me the original work, there is not existing, like author's name is different, or the information like it is said that this is a book. Well, when I go for it, this is not book, this is a article or a research paper from researchgate. So this some things I have faced during writing the dissertation with experience of chat gpt.
You can take all screenshots and make a PT of this. Using all the screenshots about that, you can make, so that way you can say that how you have to apply your own thinking abilities to question the responses generated by ChatGPT. There is a word used, generated. That is how, so when you use, many of you are still not using proper vocabulary. What we ask is known as prompt. What we get is called generated text. So it is generating a kind of, it is a transformer, or language transformer. Like electricity transformers generates electricity. So this generates language, it keeps on generating. But the one who is user needs to be very conscious, alert, aware, keep on cross-checking, then only they can rely. Otherwise, it may be problematic. So that can be proven. If you can make a small PPT or all those screenshots, if you put, then you can do. Maybe after 6 months or 8 months, or after reading your experience, somebody will use the same prompt. Maybe next semester, somebody will try that, okay, this were your prompt, because prompt will come in screenshot. Your screenshot will have a prompt that what you asked. So after 6 months, when you try or somebody else try, maybe they get another response also, or maybe correct also. So then we can compare. then it allows for comparison. So research is always growing from one to another one. So if you put things systematically, somebody else can help use that and again grow something, some kind of an understanding from that also. So keep on taking those things and putting it at such a place where it can be openly accessed also. Nowadays, you can also use social media also. You can make a small digital story on this, that this is the experience you tried, screenshots are there, and you got this response. So this way you fail to get the right responses that you wanted. But that will be useful to somebody else. Why we share? What is the purpose of sharing in research? Why they say why you should publish in research? This idea of publication is there, that you have to write and publish, and the purpose is that somebody can read and grow on that. So if somebody is just doing research and not publishing anything or just hidden, then it is not meaningful. Research is also to be shared. Or when we are looking at some of the characteristics of a researcher, along with many things that we have discussed, this one also is sharing in various capacities, in research journals, articles, blog, various posts in different way, but people keep on sharing so that uh, what we call it as attitude to share also develops as a part of a research attitude or research aptitude also, so that other people can grow on that.
Sir, one more thing is that when I ask Chat GPT, how can I cite your previous answer? Then Chat GPT given his own citation. Uh, in which form we are need, we can see if we asking for MLA 8, then it give. So Chat GPT also given his own citation, and another thing is when I ask for the source, it given me 8 or 9 source, and among them only one is appropriate, or the place where I reach the exactly source.
Exactly, that's what. Yeah, okay. So if you can preserve those screenshots, then it will be useful. Otherwise, what you tell is unreliable unless you show that. You have to show that, then only it becomes reliable. If you don't show, you're just talking.
Yes, sir,
So
I have chat history.
that is necessary. As a researcher, you have to keep those things handy. So if somebody is asking, show what was your prompt and what was the, if you now I don't have, then you can't make a firm standing on that. So that way you have to preserve your journey as a researcher. When you write dissertation, various experiences that you have undergone, that also is to be documented. The journey also is to be documented, wherein there is very good learning for everybody. Everybody can learn from that journey also. Okay, yes.
Yes, Divya, how we can apply, no, this second. As as it is mentioned in the slide about ethics in publication. So, what is ethics in publication, and do you find any key points in that?
So my sorry for that. I my reading is not about that. I have not read about the key points. So sorry for that.
She is talking about research paper, formatting research paper, not about ethics in research paper. That was about how to format a research paper, but there was nothing about ethical concern. So there is no need to ask that question about ethics there.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dhvani Rajyaguru, and today I'm going to deal with plagiarism, concept, types, and solution. As a part of research methodology, and this is my personal information table of content which I'm going to deal with. First, introduction, then concept, types, solution, and conclusion. So, in concept, I'm gonna deal with definition, factors, and reasons. So, first, introduction. So, plagiarism is one of the important issue of university. So plagiarism is one of the important issue of university in recent times. So if we see in past more than 2 decades, the progress in computer technology, that is running websites or copy paste things are handy, the tools are handy. So that become the result of increasing plagiarism, and as according to Hart and Frisner, it has required a new and different methods compared to the past. It was rare phenomenon till 1990, but after that it has it is spread across the world in recent years, and now this has worried the worldwide academic community. So, Malone, in his book Stolen Words, write that Ben Jonson was the first one to sue the term plagiarism in the early 17th century. It was hard for author to protect their writings before devising copyright laws. So, as plagiarism increased in 18th century and copyrights were there, but and then it was also increased the strong ethical viewpoints towards plagiarism. Lauren MacLean quotes this is the article of JSTOR, in which, according to a recent article in the New York Times, Duke University's Center for Academic Integrity says that 40% of college students admit to plagiarizing of the internet, up from 10% in 1999. And the BBC News, meanwhile, alludes to an epidemic of plagiarism. Epidemic means same situation that is faced by the huge community, invoking the metaphor of disease spreading uncontrollably as a frame for understanding plagiarism. So, definition idioms of plagiarism. According to Persian Dictionary of Dekhoda, which is mentioned by Bahaduri in his article, the word steal means taking away somebody's possession with deception and tricks, or to take hold of something without the right to do so. According to Bernhardt and Steinmetz mention, the word plagiarism comes from the word plagiarize, meaning kidnapper or robber, misleader, and literary thief. In Webster's dictionary, it is defined as one who plagiarizes or purloins the words, writing, or ideas of another and passes them off as his own, a literary thief. Vessel and Habizeder defined is the ascribing other ideas, processes, result, and words to oneself without due acknowledgement. Factors of plagiarism. According to Dodoy, this is written in article of Bahaduri. The most important factors influencing the plagiarism include laziness or mismanagement of time, easy access to materials on the internet, unawareness of rules and regulations, and unwitting plagiarizing. Some other factors are also there. For example, these are low commitment to the learning process and focusing on getting an academic degree, the student lifestyle, family pressure, etc. And students try to achieve the best result with the least efforts and in the least time. Recognizing plagiarism. Recognizing plagiarism faces a number of problems. For example, the first one is recognizing the amount of plagiarism because it can cover a wide scope. The second one is the question as to how much change in the original material can make for plagiarism. And Roy argues in his article that many students struggle between the rewarding and summarizing because they cannot distinguish between them. And the third and last issue is that most authors believe that there is no need to reference common language, but we may ask what common language is and who actually defined the common language. Reasons of plagiarism. There are 9 reasons I have found. First is genuine lack of understanding, in which the person is unintentionally doing plagiarism. The another is efficiency gain. He or she, the student wants to get the better grade. Time management, maybe the student has no time. Personal values and attitudes. The person is having negative attitude toward assignment. Defiance, in which the student regard the task set as neither important nor the challenging one. Students attitude toward teacher and class, the negative aspect towards study. Denial and neutralizations, in which student is deny that he or she is cheating or find ways of blaming others. And the last one is lack of deterrence. More accessible and more options of web search can lead it easier to make copy paste for the student. Types of plagiarism. I have taken 4. The first one is intentional or unintentional, mosaic of pet or patch writing, self plagiarism, ghost writing. So the first one is intentional, in which the author or the student or the one who is writing who deliberately or intentionally do plagiarism. Unintentional plagiarism occurs when the author either is not aware of such research or unaware of the ethics in writing, does not know how to cite sometimes. So this is the unintentional. The another is mosaic writing. So this happens when one author is uh, doing plagiarism, but he is writing but replacing, reordering, or sometimes rephrasing the earlier authors. Like for example, the first one who has already written something, and now the second author is coming and who is rephrasing all the things who is written by the first author and changing the name, like he proves that this is mine. The another is self plagiarism. So this happens when the author has added the research on a previously published article, book, contributed chapter, or journal of his own. Ghostwriting. It is the process of writing a piece of under someone else's name. For example, a freelancer or someone who is paying to write assignment or like that. When I search in chat GPT types of plagiarism, it is relevant, but what is happening that they are giving a very brief information. So these are the same one. Direct plagiarism, that means intentional plagiarism. This occurs when a person copies word for word from a source without using quotation marks. Self plagiarism, this occurs when a person submit their own work for credit more than once without acknowledging that it has been previously published or submitted. Mosaic plagiarism. This occurs when a person takes a phrase or sentence from a source and uses them on their own name, their own work without proper citation, leading to a mix of copied or original content. Then paraphrasing plagiarism, this I haven't mentioned in first side. So this occurs when a person rewrites someone else's work in their words without giving proper credit to the original source, similar to the mosaic. And the patchwork plagiarism, this occurs when a person takes idea or information from multiple sources and combines it. So why this matters a lot? According to Spread in the Oxford website, he writes that it is a principle of intellectual honesty. Passing off another's work as the own, it shows that the poor scholarship also means that you have failed to complete the learning process. And unethical can have a very serious consequences to your future career. For example, it also undermines the standard of your institute or degree sometimes. Strategies to avoid plagiarism. Now, the solution how to avoid it. Read the instructions for authors provided by the journal. Always acknowledge the contributions of authors and the source of ideas and words, regardless of whether paraphrased or summarized. Use the verbatim text. Material must be enclosed in quotation mark. Acknowledge sources used in the writing. When paraphrasing, understand the material completely and use your own word. When in doubt about whether or not the concept or fact is common language, reference it. Make sure to reference and cite references accurately. Become familiar with the basic element of copyright. So these are my references. By concluding, I can say that it is a very serious problem from the student to the senior person, and it can also harmful to the countries as well as education is so important. So these are my work citation. Thank you.
So, Dhvani, my question is, as you have mentioned in your presentation about efficiency gain as the reason of plagiarism, so can you throw some light on that?
Sometimes a scholar or student having not much idea about the concept or how to write, what to write, so what he do that he goes to another person's article and directly take that to his or her article without mentioning him the because the thing is so good, the concept is so good in that article, but he doesn't want to give credit to the person who has actually wrote that, but instead of that he write and then tells that this is by myself. Or sometimes students write hurriedly and don't give credit, so for the better marks he or she is doing without giving credit to someone else, but they are saying that this is my own work. So efficiency.
Dhvani, which type of plagiarism do you find is more difficult?
uh, all like all are difficult, but according to me the one unintentional kind of plagiarism, because in unintentional, like accidental, you can also say that person doesn't know that I am doing plagiarism, he or she is unaware of that, and that lead to the like he or she it could be, in future it could be harmful that he or she haven't mentioned who has written, but directly is mentioning by his or her name. So unintentional, I feel that is more difficult.
So you're asking for this reference, no? Article reference. Which citation was it? Which you want to cross check? BBC.
Yes, BBC. In the JSTOR it is written,
But
the first one, the JSTOR, in the first reference.
it was not found in that link.
Yeah.
That
When I
link.
went to the data's reference in the BBC site, it was like the site can't be reached.
You got the keywords from that at least.
Yeah.
So with the help of those keywords, you can reach and see, because URLs may slightly change, and you can Google and you can find. For example, this was the source you were asking: epidemic of student cheating, BBC News.
Yes, yes. This
So
was the
now
one.
it is there now. So you can. So when you get a source and you're not able to reach that website, then still you have a keywords and you can Google and see if anywhere else you are able to find or not. So that try you can do. This is again research all about trying in variety of ways. Doing this, doing that, and then trying to reach out to that. So this way we can reach to this place, which is cited in that article. Okay, yeah, next one. And in this slide, this also was a good point. By the time next one can come and start, yeah, this I refer to this. This was this that the factors of plagiarism, which may be true in your case also. One is laziness, time mismanagement of time. So when there is time, we don't do anything, and then last moment, last night, we rush here and there. So our time is not managed. So whatever comes, we start taking, and then there is no time to cross verify, cross check, because our management of time was not there. So earlier, if it was planned properly, then you get enough time to do the things. But if we miss the deadlines, then things are done. So laziness and mismanagement of time. Bahaduri article, DoE is writing this. And then another thing, easy access to materials on the internet. That also makes us lazy. We know that things are there, so any moment I will go, I will get something, 5, 7 slides I have to prepare. So what's to worry in that? Yeah. So that is also easy access of material also makes us lazy, and our management of time is also distorted because of this. And then it is unawareness of rules or another thing, that is. But as a part of a course, normally students are made aware about what is plagiarism and why it should not be done. Okay? So people cannot say that I am not aware about the rule. Simple thing, if you follow that you read several things, after reading their making their notes and citation, add something of your own, write your own paragraph based on all those observations. What is your interpretation that you keep on writing? Then your work will be fair and square, good enough. If you like don't write anything of your own and just keep on putting paragraphs or paraphrasing the paragraphs from other sources only, then it will be plagiarism. You just have to ask that like for example, you can try with slides. How many things written by your own experience or your own understanding? How, that is where you can never be caught in plagiarism. That is what you are supposed to do in assignment writing also. The same way in assignment writing also, what is your writing? How much percentage of the entire assignment is your writing? If it goes beyond 20, 30, 40 percentage, it is good. Otherwise, it is not. If you have just taken everything from other sources, it will be plagiarism. So just no need to know any other thing. Ask yourself, how many things are written by me, from my understanding or my experience, based on all observations. Then it is easy to escape those things. Yes, you can start.
Hello everyone, myself Dhruvita Dhameliya. Today I am going to talk about the power of originality, navigating the ethics of plagiarism. Objective of this presentation is to understand the concept of plagiarism in research, understand the appreciate the different types and forms of plagiarism, various reasons why students plagiarize, understand the consequences of plagiarism, what to do so as to avoid plagiarism, the different software used in detecting plagiarism and how to use them. Introduction. According to Gert Hallenson, plagiarism is an ethical issue of considerable practical impact affecting the educational system and research worldwide, but also influencing art, music, and literature. The academic discussion on plagiarism is in a basic education mainly concern its frequency and explanation and potential countermeasure. It is true that we have to look beyond through the shoulder of a giant, and we have to through the lens of the researcher which already had made, but that doesn't mean that we have to use entire source whatever given by them without citing them. Many There is many definition of plagiarism, and I choose 4 of them. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, plagiarize or plagiarism comes from the Latin word plagiaris, which means kidnapper. This word derived from a Latin plaga, a net used by hunters to catch game. And Latin word include the more meaning in that a person who stole the words rather than the thing or children. Merriam Online Dictionary explained plagiarism as a plagiarism means to steal and pass off the idea or words of another as one's own, use another production without crediting the source or to commit literally theft. Present as a new and original an idea or product derived from an existing source. According to Cambridge Dictionary, the process or a practice of using another person's idea or work and pretending that it's our own. The Office of Research Integrity defines plagiarism as it can be viewed as a stealing of another person's idea, method, result, or words without giving proper attribution, being a theft or misappropriation of intellectual property and the substantial unattributed textual copy of another works. Important components in this definition, we find that anytime you hand in something or claim that it is your own, it must be your own idea. Otherwise, you must cite it. Any content you did not create yourself, there must be citation at the end of this work. The definition or the idea I find from the MLA book, which is that plagiarism involves two kinds of wrongs: using another person's idea, information, or expression without acknowledging the person's work, or intellectual theft. Passing, and second thing, the passing of another person's idea by claiming that it's our own or not giving the credit to the person. There are many types, but I find 5 types in the Ish Kumar Dhammi's article, that copying and pasting plagiarism. When you copy entire article or the journal of somebody and paste in your own work and claim that it's our own, that called copy and pasting plagiarism. Word switch plagiarism, in which you slightly change the word and make rest it is as it is. Style plagiarism, in which you follow the style which followed by some author and change your one words and idea, but the style is the same, then it calls style plagiarism. Metaphor plagiarism, some poets and some writer use metaphor for their uniqueness. Then when you use some metaphor of some writer, then it called metaphor plagiarism. Idea plagiarism, when you stole someone idea and change the word and the writing style, but the idea is similar, that is it called idea plagiarism. And when you are searching for some work and got idea and then you interpret it in your words, then also it called idea plagiarism. Forms of plagiarism, according to Deepak Juyal, there is a forms of plagiarism: blatant plagiarism, in which an act in which author tries to deceive the teacher reader either for a grade or a claim into believing that he or she is totally responsible for the content. Technical plagiarism, when author is not trying to cheat or deceive the reader but fails to follow the accepted method of using and revealing sources. Patchwork plagiarism, taking notes portion from several sources and combining them and put it into one article. You use many site and then put it several things in one site and claim that it is your own, that it called patchwork plagiarism. Self plagiarism, when you are writing your own article, but when you publish it again and again in different or many journal or presentation, or use it several times, that it called self plagiarism. Plagiarism happens, but why? There are many reasons that plagiarism happen: lack of knowledge about plagiarism, accidentally copying a work, forgetting to cite a source, desire to excel among peers, a false belief that no one will catch them, no interest in academic work and just taking that as an assignment, using shortcut in form of self-plagiarism, fear of failing. How to avoid plagiarism? There are many reasons that people make plagiarism accidentally or unintentionally or intentionally, but there are several ways through that we can avoid it. Direct quotation, when you use quotation of the author, then you can use quotation mark and cite the authors according to, or in author's view, something using word like this. Paraphrasing, when you read some article or summarize it, use paraphrasing, not entire thought or idea, but some thought and idea which you put in a paraphrasing and claim that and give credit at the end of the article. Use plagiarism checker, there are several software which help student to check the plagiarism, so you can use this and get to know that your work is plagiarized or what. There are many tools, but I take for Urkund, which helps to identify the which how much percentage your work is present plagiarized. Authenticate, Turnitin, and Grammarly. These 4 are the famous one which help. There are many, but these four are more used by the people. When I ask ChatGPT to how to avoid plagiarism, it is give an answer which I already use in my slide, but it give a common answer and general point of view, which I find it many sites. It is not in any journal or article, but the site use this information, and it is not from one site. There are I found different sites which is from the line is different from the every site. When I ask for online tools, they give 6 tool which is actually help us in check the plagiarism, and I use in three of previously in my slide, and these last four are also help the people to use check the plagiarism. Work cited. Thank you.
Will you throw more light on blatant plagiarism you have mentioned in your slide?
In this kind of plagiarism, where you use author's entire idea, words, or a style also. In this kind of plagiarism, where you use everything with which given by the author or any article or journal and claim that it's your own.
So, Dhruvita, my question is, as you have mentioned four tools about check the plagiarism. So, which tool have you used? How many tools you used?
No, I didn't use any tool as it demand for paid version. It is demanding for paid version. If we are grammarly, I don't know, but it first three is for paid version. So I didn't use anyone.
No, some of the papers I have done under Urkund. No? When you send, have you seen whose papers are there? PP Savani, 3-4 papers. So that also you can see how Urkund is doing that. So that analysis everybody can do. Whose papers were there? 1, 2, 3, 4. No? So you can share that how that plagiarism software, that tool, has checked originality. It is known as originality checker. So plagiarism is a rather negative term. So people use the word originality checking. How much percentage of original writing is there? That way they try to tell that. So that you can use here. I will try to see if I can get anything from Google Classroom. They also have one tool, but it is limited to 3-4 entries only right now. Yes. So, but that experience can be shared when you talk about tools to check plagiarism. That also is paid, but made available to research supervisors of the university to use it free of cost.
So some tools provides us free analyze of plagiarism, but to give report for the particular research in the PTSC, that field is not provided reports. So paid version provides that we can download from the paid version that report.
So normally free versions are just to give you a glimpse how it works so that you purchase. It is for testing. Then people will have to purchase only. So report generation is always with paid services.
Sir, some free tool are using, like we use name of the novel, writer name. It also show in plagiarize, like Chetan. I use name of Chetan Bhagat and his works. So it also called plagiarism.
So that can be removed. So that is the study of the tool. So that tool allows you that this part is general information. Like you are citing a couplet from Wordsworth, which will be available on so many websites. It may show that it is available here. So you tick mark and remove that this is not plagiarism, this is original work, which will be obviously found. So it decreases the percentage. So some manual work is required on the report generated by machines. Tools will generate a report and then we have to do manual work on that. that how many of these things are really plagiarism and how many things are in general information, which may not be considered as plagiarism. So that step is necessary when we work. So you can't just blindly rely on the tool, but some human intervention is necessary with that.
Sir, I have experienced Grammarly that it is free, and when we use it, like when we found that box in which there is spelling mistake, that red line is coming. So in Grammarly also, if some name or something which comes under red line, I mean, if we save that word in dictionary of Grammarly dictionary of our phone, then it will not like not coming red line. And if we by mistakenly so we save the dictionary right spelling, then for by this time when we use grammar, it is not something mistake.
It will not show because that is used, because there are many Indian words, for example, that is not in the database. How that tool works. They give several words to them that this is correct spelling and these are possible incorrect answers. So if somebody has typed in this, then you will show red line and the option. Now, if somebody says, no, this is right word, which is not feed in the data, so you are feeding in the data when you click that this is the correct word. So next time it will not show. That is how the coding is done. So if you add more words in that dictionary, then it will find that as a correct answer, the correct word, and then it will not show the error. So by mistake also, if you have done that, then also it will come in the same. The next time it will not show you the error. That happens with the word also. If you're using MS Word, then MS Word, or most of the tools are using this particular. And many Indian words or any other such words which are coming from other languages than English, they are not feed into that database. So they will show red line, but it is correct. Spelling also, correct word also. Okay, you can start. Share the screen. Are you sharing?
Yes.
Hello everyone. Today I am going to deal with the topic academic writing and its characteristics. Table. This is table of contents. What is academic writing? Importance of good academic writing. Characteristic and conclusion. So first, what is academic writing? Academic writing refers to a particular style of expression that scholars use to define the boundaries of their disciplines and their areas of expertise. Academic writing is based on formal study, especially at an institution of higher learning, and characteristic of academic writing include a formal tone, use of the third person rather than first person's perspective, a clear focus on the research problem under investigation, and a precise word choice. Academic writing is a form of writing non-fiction prose that communicates information, ideology, details, and research to a broader academic community. This form of writing, which is also often called scholarly writing, can be divided into two separate branches. The first is student scientific writing, which is used in college and schools in an exam or project format to prepare for university studies. And the second is professional scientific writing, intended for publication in academic journals or books. The importance of good academic writings. The first is the big picture. Unlike fiction or journalistic writing, the overall structure of academic writing is formal and logical. It must be comprehensive and possess a logical flow of ideas, which means that various parts of connect are connected to form a unified whole. The tone throughout your paper, it is important that you present the arguments of others fairly and with an appropriate tone. When presenting a position or argument that you disagree with, describe this argument accurately and without loaded or biases language. In the language, a clear use of language is essential in academic writing. Well structured paragraphs and clear topic sentences enable a reader to follow your line of thinking without difficulty. Your language should be concise, formal, and express precisely what you want it to mean in academic convention, citing sources in the body of your paper and providing a list of references are very important aspect of academic writing. It is essential to always acknowledge the source of any ideas, research findings, or data that you have used in your paper. To do otherwise is considered plagiarism. Evidence-based arguments. Your assignments often ask you to express your own point of view on research problem you are discussing. However, what is valued in academic writing is that your opinions are based on a sound understanding of the pertinent body of knowledge and academic debates that are currently being debated in your discipline. You need to support your opinion with evidence from academic sources, then thesis driven analysis. The writing is thesis driven, meaning that the starting point is a particular perspective idea or thesis on the chosen research problem, such as establishing, proving, or disproving solution to these questions posed for the topic. In contrast, simply describing a topic without the research questions does not qualify as academic writing in complexity and higher order thinking. One of the main functions of academic writing is to describe complex ideas as clear as possible. Often called higher order thinking skills, this includes cognitive processes that are used to comprehend, solve problems, and express concepts or that describe abstract ideas that cannot be easily acted out, pointed, or shown with images. The characteristics. Good structure. An academic paper must have a clear structure appropriate to the topic on which the piece is being written. For instance, a dissertation should have an introduction with a problem statement, detailed aims or objectives, and the method. Various essay would have a plain introduction with a body divided into paragraphs, each dealing with a separate point and a conclusion. The best tip to achieve this is to carry out through planning and research before writing. Having all these research completed beforehand allow you to plan and the structure and write with clarity and logical progression in clear format. Academic writing relies on a strong formal style of expression that demonstrates the author's subject knowledge and expertise in the field. To maintain objectivity, which is another key aspect of academic writing, Writers typically use a third person perspective. However, in isolated cases, as needed, writers may resort to expressing certain things subjectively to demonstrate a reflective treatment of the subject matter, and maintaining a formal style of writing adds credibility to the ideas presenting by the authors. And the best tip to go about with this is to have a clear and precise understanding to what you are trying to express, so that you are able to convey it in a clinical manner. In proper citation, academic writers to gain credibility and demonstrate their knowledge of the subject matter often support a major part of their write-up with evidence and citation from primary and authority sources and resources. A bibliography is a key element at the end, which lists out the scholarly articles, books, and other resources that the author references throughout the text. Students should note that significant emphasis is laid by examiners to the references done by them. On the other hand, professional pieces of academic writing, if not referenced properly, will usually lose all credibility. And tip two is to use technology to your advantage. There are a number of different software options that make bibliography writing a breeze. EndNotes and Microsoft Word being two such options. And this not only help you keep track, but will also format your bibliography for you. Then conclusions. A component of academic writing as it is allows you to summarize your points and present your final thoughts on the topic. A well-written conclusion should have your reader with a clear understanding of the main argument and a sense of closure. Then I'm asking ChatGPT what is academic writing and its characteristics. So academic writing in some common informations, then is characteristic formality. Academic writing is formal is tone, language, and structure. It is important to use proper grammar, syntax, and vocabulary to convey your ideas effectively. Then objectivity. Academic writing should be objective and impartial, avoiding personal biases or opinions. It should be based on fact, evidence, and logical reasonings. Then clarity and precision. Academic writing should be precise and specific, with terminology concepts defined clearly and accurately. This helps to avoid ambiguity or confusions. In critical analysis. Academic writing should involve critical analysis and evaluations of existing research theories and ideas. It should identify gaps in knowledge and propose new research questions or directions. Yeah. This is work citation.
So my question is, what we have to be careful while doing academic writing, and do you face any issue while doing academic writing?
Yes, is academic writing by careful. Yes, academic writing is writing, just like speaking, or in a simply way to giving some informations and communicate to other persons, and to communication with effectively, and it is understand to our audiences, and how they like to receive informations like.
So Bhavna, my question is how green formats aspect is useful to the academic writing?
I don't know.
No idea. If you try to give answer. Okay, so now see in your presentation, yes, you can come and put the things ready by that time. At one place, you have referred to this. Two tips, and the second tip is to use technology to your advantage. There are a number of different software options. This is what you have written, okay? Different options of software that make bibliography writing a breeze. EndNote and Microsoft Word being two such options. But I don't think you might have used either EndNote or Microsoft Word. Have you used that for bibliography? What have you used? EndNote or Microsoft Word for preparing bibliography? Which one? Or how have you prepared bibliography? Have you used any tool to prepare or manually you have prepared? Yes. Bibliography you have prepared, no, in your PPT. How have you prepared that? So that is means your PPT is plagiarism. There is nothing of your own. સમજાણું પ્લેજિયરિઝમ એટલે શું? આ એમનું ઉદાહરણ. એટલે તમે કંઈક એવું લખો છો, ભાઈ એ કરો છો તમે, પછી જે કરો છો તે જુદું કરો છો, લખો છો કંઈક જુદું. તો તમે કોઈ જગ્યાએ વાંચ્યું કે આ રીતે એ થાય બિબ્લિયોગ્રાફીમાં, તમે કઈ ટેકનોલોજી વાપરો એ રિપ્લેસ કરી નાખો એને. એટલે એને તમને આઈડિયા આપ્યો કે આ લખીએ ત્યારે આ રીતે આ વસ્તુનો ઉપયોગ કરાય. પણ અમે તો એનો નહીં, અમે બીજા ટૂલનો ઉપયોગ કરીએ છીએ. તો યુ આર એડિંગ યોર ઓન થિંગ્સ દેર. દેન યુ એવોઇડ પ્લેજિયરિઝમ. આમ જોવો તો આટલું સિમ્પલ છે, પણ તમારે જાગ્રત રહેવું પડે એમાં. બસ આ જાગ્રત રહેવું એ જ મહા મુસીબત છે. જ્યારે બધું આસાનીથી મળી જાય તો એટલું જાગતું પણ શું કામ રહેવું? આપણે ક્યાંક બાજુમાં બીજું કામ કરતા કરતા આમાં કોપી પેસ્ટ થયા કરે, મગજ ભલે ને શાંત હોય બંધ હોય તો પણ થઈ જતી હોય પીપીટી તૈયાર, તો આપણે શું કામ કરવું જોઈએ? એ લેઝીનેસ આપે આપણને. That is where laziness comes. That is what comes in our thinking activity, our assignments, our present, everywhere. Because we become like things are available. So why should I care? Why should I exercise my mental activity, or why should I take stress? Because doing that is stressful. એટલે આપણે પ્લેજિયરિઝમ તરફ જાય. ફેક્ટર્સ શું છે આના? તો એ આ બધા ફેક્ટર્સ છે. થિંકિંગ એક્ટિવિટીના બ્લોકથી લઈને બધે જ લાગુ પડે. જે કંઈ પણ આપણે કામગીરી કરીએ, બસ એના ઉપર જ તમે પ્રકાશ ફેંકીને થોડી વાત કરો એટલે તમારું રાઇટિંગ છે યુનિક છે. That is unique in that way. So that is what you have to do. તો એમાં આપણે શું થાય કે હું સારી ઇમ્પ્રેશન જમાવું, કે બહુ હું એકદમ હોશિયાર છું એવું બતાવવા જાઉં, એમાં આપણે પકડાઈ જઈએ. એમાં આપણે બીજાનું લેવા જઈએ, એમાં પકડાય. એના કરતાં જેવા હોય એવા દેખાઈને લખીએ તો there is not a problem. Then we can easily avoid plagiarism also. So that also are the factors that people want to display, that they know more than they actually know. In that, when we go to display more knowledge or to make things even better than actually what we understand, તો એ બધું પ્લેજિયરિઝમમાં આવતું જાય. એ તમારા ડેઝર્ટેશનમાં આવ્યું જ હશે ને, એ તમારા બધા જ બ્લોગમાં આવ્યો હોય છેલ્લા 2 વર્ષના, અથવા જેટલા પ્રેઝન્ટેશન કરે ત્યાં બધે આવેલું હોય. હવે એને એવોઇડ કેમ કરવું? તો કે આપણું જેન્યુઇન શું છે એ લખવાનું. Then you can easily avoid the plagiarism also. Okay, yes, you can share the screen. Share again. Sharing has stopped.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is Navigating the World of Research, a guide to different methodologies. Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is Navigating the World of Research, a guide to different methodologies. Table of content, introduction, definition of research and methodology, types of methodology, and conclusion and work cited. Definition of research. According to Clifford Woody, research comprises of defining and redefining the problems, formulating hypotheses or suggested solutions, collecting organization, and carefully leaving the solutions to determine whether they fit the formulated hypothesis. Then next is from Merriam-Webster Dictionary. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, studious inquiry or examination, especially investigation or experimentation aimed at discovery and interpretation of facts, revision of accepted theories or laws, in light of new facts of practical applications of such new or revised theories or laws. Next is from Redman and Mori. They define research as a systematized effort to gain new knowledge. Definition of methodology. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, a body of practices, procedures, and rules used by those who work in discipline or engage in an inquiry, a set of working methods. And next is from Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a study of method, rules, and prostitutes employed by discipline, a particular procedure or a set of procedures. There are types of research. First is fundamental and basic research. This research is very common. The studies investigated on a very natural and phenomenon pure science. Very common aspects are seen, like for example, a basic science investigation problem for answers to questions: how do the universe begins, and what are the protons, neutrons, and electrons composed of. In this research, the basic questions and basic things are being answered and questioned. Descriptive research. Descriptive research is that describes a population, situation, or phenomenon that is being studied. The major purpose of descriptive research is of a state of affairs as it exists at present. Example for descriptive research is if you want to measure the characteristics of anxiety disorder among the children in certain communities, so they do interviews and they do surveys with their parents, teachers, and they try to collect the information on the basis of surveys and interviews, that what are their symptoms, behavior, how they are behaving with them. This all analysis is done, and then they determine the frequency and anxiety in population. This how this descriptive research is done. Next is analytical research. In analytical research, the specific types of research involves critical thinking and evaluation of facts and information relative to research being conducted. There are a variety of people, including students, doctors, and psychologists, use analytical research during the studies to find most relevant information. Example for analytic research is analytical research could be studied that seeks to understand the factors that influence customer behavior in purchase of organic food. Means they try to analyze that how is the customer's behavior towards buying the organic food, and they try to make an analysis on this base. Next is applied research. Applied research is a scientific research. This research is done in everyday problem solving, like illness, and develop innovative technologies. It's also been used by engineers to develop the software, new technologies. For example for applied research is improve agriculture crop production, or treat or cure a specific disease. In this, they try to convey collect a try to collect a research and investigate the means there is a new medicine being introduced, so they do trial on that how it's been used and what are the side effects. Effective analysis is done on this. Next is qualitative research. Qualitative research is based on numbers, data collections. There is questionnaires, online surveys, and polls are being carried out for qualitative research. Qualitative research involves more people, and more people means more core data. In qualitative research, the research is based on questionnaires, online surveys, and polls, and more people are involved in it, so that they get more and more data. A huge quantity of data to analyze more accurate result can be obtained. Quantitative research. In quantitative research, it is applicable to phenomena that can be expressed in terms of quantity. According to this Rajesh Kumar, quantitative research is commonly used in the fields such as psychology, sociology, economics, and education to study various phenomena. It is rigorous and systematic approach that allows researcher to draw conclusion based on it. Next is conceptual research. In conceptual research, it is generally a philosophical thinker. So like we do our dissertation, we first see the means our basic concept, like feminism. I am working on feminism, so I have to see how it originated, from where it came. Then on my topic, I will convey a research review, that how much work is done, and then I will see how much work is done, and then I'll fill the gap, that what all is left. I have given the example for this is exploring the concept of postmodernism in literature. First, the researcher will conduct a research literature review and then analyze it. And based on that analysis, the researcher will develop a conceptual framework and outline that the key elements of postmodern literature, that how it differs. Next is empirical research. Empirical research that is based on observed and measured phenomena rather than relying on theory or pure logic. It involves collecting data through various methods such as experiments, surveys, observation, case studies, etc. Empirical research can be used in various fields such as social science, natural sciences, engineering, and healthcare. Next is historical research. Historical research is based on the past what has happened. In historical research, the critical evaluates and examines the past events that has happened. For example, investigating into the history and impact of caste system. So the researcher will collect the primary sources such as religious texts, historical documents, oral history to gain the knowledge. And then they would also consult the secondary sources such as academic literature and will use scholarly articles to analyze their different interpretation and argument made about the caste system. So these are the things which I got from chat gpt. I typed the topic which was there, the navigations of research methodology, the research methodology guide. So I got the experimental research, survey research, case study, action research, different types of uh, things. I got content analysis. Few I have discussed in my presentations. There were so many, so I have taken half, but ChatGPT has given all in. And the problem which I faced in ChatGPT while dissertation was I was working on Pride and Prejudice, so I tried to get the dialogues which are based on Elizabeth Bennet. So they have given ChatGPT gave me even the chapter, even the page number, and when I was trying to find a dialogue on that page number and chapter, but that was not visible. And actually, the dialogues were taken from the film of Pride and Prejudice. These are my work citations, and in this also while I was writing further, I have asked of examples. So chat gpt has provided me the examples, and then later on provided one link which I am able to open, but I am not able to get the definition which chat gpt provided from that. These are my work citations, and thank you.
How is applied research useful in engineering? As you mentioned that it is useful in medicine field for the student. So how it is useful to engineering students?
Yes, in the engineering field, they take first of all, applied research is used for on regular basis of day-to-day life. So in the same way, in engineering field, if they want to develop some software for their company, so they try to analyze it on day-to-day life. What are the changes? What should they do further in that? So that's
So there are many types of research you mentioned. So which types of research do you like the most and why?
conceptual research I like, because we literature students on dissertation work on that. We do literature review, find what are the gaps, and we feel that. So
Okay, so I hope this will help you in improve the quality of your dissertation this time. So now with all this understanding, you will try to work on the final draft of your dissertation. After a few days, we will let you know all other changes that are required in your dissertation. That also will suggest. But keep everything in mind, even if a few things are not suggested to you. But you have to check it in your own way, that whatever you are writing, what are the possibilities of plagiarism, and how you can overcome those things. That all technicalities and everything, you have to be careful and apply that in your dissertation writing. Okay, so with this we end our this morning session here. Let me end the